advisory committees. There are advisory committees that review all these projects and endorse them. So this time around, the impacted advisory committees are for the Milwaukee and Racine urbanized areas, and they have reviewed and endorsed these projects that are in table 1. Attached to your resolution, there's a brief memo, and then table 1 and table 2. Table 2 outlines kind of the financial impacts of the TIP. So there are 11 projects in this particular amendment. 9 of them are existing projects already in the TIP and being changed in some way, and 2 are new projects. When we look at where they are by county, 2 of them are in Milwaukee County, 2 are in Waukesha County, 2 are in Ozaukee County, 2 are in Racine County, 2 are in Walworth County, and 1 is in Washington County. And actually the financial impact of this amendment is a little different than usual. It's actually going to decrease, and I'll outline why that is because of one specific project. Overall, this amendment supports preservation and maintenance of existing highways and bridge infrastructure, as well as safety improvements. So turning to the attached table 1, on the first page of table 1, just a couple highlights of projects that are a little interesting because they're a little bit different. Most of these are projects types of projects that we usually see, such as resurfacing, pavement replacements, etc. But one that I did want to point out is actually 5 projects down on table 1. It is within the town of Fredonia, just south of the Ozaukee County, Sheboygan County line. This is a little bit interesting because it's using a source of federal funds that we don't see that often, called Protect funds. This is really has kind of resiliency behind it. And what it's meant to do is when there's basically a highway that's experiencing erosion issues or stormwater issues, this funding source is intended to fix that. So that's what's happening here on State Highway 57, reinforcing the earth embankment there, as well as installing some stormwater facilities and replacing guardrails. So not completely exciting, except for the fact that this is a little bit of an unusual project source for us. Another one that I wanted to highlight is on the second page of table 1, the second one down under existing projects. This particular project is a bridge project in Slinger, and this is a project that's actually causing the financial impact to decrease. That's because the total of federal dollars that was provided us when this was originally put in the TIP was incorrect. It was 26 million when it should have been 2.9 million. So that's why we're seeing the overall net decrease impact on this particular amendment. Finally, under new projects, the first row that it's in Landon, the Milwaukee urbanized area. Again, this is not a big financial impact, but it's a good example of some of the work that WISDOT does a very good job of every year around late spring. Something happens that's actually called the August redistribution. So usually in August there becomes some extra federal funding available because not all states use all their federal transportation funds. So WISDOT is very good at finding ways to use those funds that other states are not. One example here is a multi-use path that will be constructed in Landon between Landon Road and the Bug Line Trail. Again, it's not a huge financial impact, $600,000, but this is one of the projects that we go through a prioritization process in the Milwaukee urbanized area. This was a project just outside of the top priority projects, and now it will be funded because of that August redistribution money that essentially is coming from another state. So those are the projects that I wanted to highlight. And if you have any questions on any other part of the amendment, I'd be happy to answer them.
Ben, could you say what the funding source was again for the project in Fredonia?
Yes, it's called Protect.
Okay, thank you.
It's a federal funding source called Protect. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's good. Moving on. As we usually do, we're going to go over the overall work program, resolution number 2024-04, and we'll have to do a motion on this later too. Okay, I think that's are you going to handle that down there? Yeah.
Okay, so the table that you have in front of you is a 2-part table. So you see the first section is titled Approved Overall Work Program Budget, and the second section is March 2025 proposed budget revision. So we were requested by WISDOT to do this budget revision. Many times we do an OWP budget revision based on our need to readjust the budget amounts for each project. Mostly that's towards the end of the year. And no increase when we do that kind of OWP revision, no increase generally in the funding source. Today, you will note that there are red numbers, and those red numbers mean that they have changed from one table to the next. And that was a request by WISDOT to highlight the numbers that are changing. So that does not mean they're negative or anything. It's just those are the numbers that have changed. So what is happening here is these last 2 years, we have been receiving what's called SADO funding. And that stands for Safe and Accessible Transportation Option. SADO funding can only be used for our projects that are related to that title. And SADO funding does not have a 20% match attached to it. So WISDOT accidentally gave us some incorrect information when we did the overall work program last October. I believe you approved the final document in November, or the executive committee did. So that being said, we were able to transfer some of our FHWA PL funds to the FHWA SADO funds. So there's no change in the overall total budget with regard to that transfer of funds. There's just a change between the program amounts. There's also another piece to this amendment, and the MPO, the Green Bay MPO gave up $55,564 for 2025 that they are not going to be able to use of federal highway PL planning dollars. We generally will take any unused planning funds and put it towards our chloride study. So when I budgeted the chloride study, we had $173,393 FHWA planning dollars that we could use for that study. You can see in the March 2025 portion of that table that has increased to $228,957, an increase of $555,564. Any questions on that?
I'm not trying to upset Ben or anything, but is there a end to the chloride study in my lifetime?
In your lifetime, definitely. No, we have expressed to the environmental division how important it is to close out that study. I think realistically, the end will be probably not sooner than 2026.
Thanks, Ben.
I hope it's wonderful. Because it's been a long time. Okay.
I move that we.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, consideration of the Environmental Justice Task Force. I'm not sure who's doing that one.
I'll do that.
That's yours, okay.
Thank you. So I do want to provide, I think, because we do have some newer commissioners joining on the meeting, a little bit of background about what the Environmental Justice Task Force is, how and why it was created, just so you have some background understanding, and then we can talk about consideration of appointment of a new member to the Environmental Justice Task Force, whose name is Kermith McClendon. So kind of a little bit of background on the Environmental Justice Task Force. So it was created because of a result of discussions with FHWA, commission staff, after the 2004 Metropolitan Planning Organization and Milwaukee Urbanized Area recertification. So every 4 years, we need to go through a recertification to ensure that our transportation planning process is being carried out properly. That's what the recertification generally is about. So this issue came out at a public hearing. about the need to improve involvement of low-income populations, people of color, and people with disabilities in the regional planning process. So to that end, the Environmental Justice Task Force was created to help advise commission staff on essentially how to do that. It was established by the Executive Committee on December 21st, 2006 at its meeting, and it's been meeting essentially quarterly since 2007. I have actually been at every quarterly meeting since 2008, so it's been meeting for quite a while. And its purposes are, as I kind of talked about, to guide commission staff in a few areas to ensure, one, community engagement methods are being undertaken to, again, better involve low-income populations, people of color, and people with disabilities in the regional planning process, as well as to identify relevant issues, regional planning issues for those populations, and also help commission staff identify ways to essentially assess benefits and impacts of regional plan recommendations on low-income populations, people of color, and people with disabilities. So that is sort of the background on how the EJTF was created and what its purpose is. Also, a little bit about the membership. It is by geography, so there are 15 members to the Environmental Justice Task Force. There are 3 members from the city of Milwaukee, 1 member each from the cities of Racine, Kenosha, and Waukesha, 1 member each from each of the 7 counties, and then 2 essentially at-large members. The membership is supposed to represent low-income populations, people of color, and people with disabilities. And as well, this is not required, but it is highly desirable that the individuals on this task force have professional background or other background in the regional planning issues that the commission deals with. So typically they will have background in transportation, housing, economic development, workforce, those types of areas. So that's the membership makeup of the EJTF. The new member, Mr. McClendon, he would represent the city of Milwaukee if he is considered and approved here today. His background is he is an impact investment manager at the Greater Milwaukee Foundation. He's also worked at the Greater Milwaukee Foundation as a program officer focused on affordable housing, entrepreneurship, workforce development grant investments. Prior to that, he was employed by the city of Milwaukee and the African American Chamber of Commerce of Wisconsin. And he continues to serve on multiple boards and committees, including the Milwaukee Economic Development Corporation, BizStarts Milwaukee Northwest Side CDC, which is northwest side of the city of Milwaukee, in Milwaukee County, and Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeastern Wisconsin. So that is his background. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to take them, or you can take them under consideration.
I have a question. Who represents Kenosha County in this area?
Let me grab my, it will be Ollie Nelson represents Kenosha County.
Okay,
And we also have a city of Kenosha representative, and I want to see that we do have 2 vacancies. I want to make sure that I have my information correct.
While you're looking, this is Dwayne. I have a question when you have a moment.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, this is a very important committee and a needed committee. Lots of discussion going on nationally right now. Is there any feedback with all of the discussion about DEI, about whether this continues or doesn't continue, or any risk for the committee?
Yeah, so there has been discussion. We have not received any guidance that our next meeting of the EJTF cannot occur. That is going to occur on Tuesday. And the primary agenda item is going to be review of a guidance document that we have put together and has been found consensus on by the EJTF that really talks about, again, its purposes, its membership, and I think we'll probably have discussion about the future direction of the Environmental Justice Task Force at that meeting. If it remains named the title or something else, if it focuses on community engagement, those may be some possibilities, but commission staff, because there are so many long-serving members on the EJTF, we would like to get their feedback on any concerns they may have and what they think the direction of the task force might be in the future. Thank you. Yolanda Adams is the, I believe, the city of Kenosha representative.
and how long is the term?
So their terms are a minimum of 2 years. There's no maximum term. So we do have some members like Yolanda as an example. She served on the task force since its beginning back in 2007. We do have some members who will serve just their minimum 2 years and then may rotate off the task force for a variety of reasons. Usually it's these are very committed individuals to their communities and are involved in many different committees and activities within their communities. That often is the reason.
And when do they meet?
So typically they meet quarterly and it's usually right around the time that our quarterly commission meetings are.
Do we get a report from them when they meet or?
We certainly can provide reports from when they meet. Where we do provide reports is one of the duties of the task force is to, as we're developing regional plans or regional plan amendments, we always have advisory committees. Say for Vision 2050, we have a regional land use and transportation planning advisory committee. We also, as we review these plans, as we go through the chapters, at the same time, we allow the task force to review those chapters, provide their input, and then we provide whatever input they receive to our advisory committees. Ultimately, those advisory committees will approve our regional plans and regional plan amendments, and then they come to the Planning Research Committee and this full commission body for ultimate adoption. So you indirectly receive their input that way, but we could certainly do updates as needed for any discussions that they have.
Ben, a lot of this is about transportation.
Correct.
And getting people around and things like that. That can be completely outside of the DI problem. Because what you're doing is being efficient throughout the area.
Yes,
So
correct.
I just make a different name for it and continue.
Yes, we have had internal staff discussions about just that. And again, I think we would like to, hear what the members' input is, but that certainly could be a way we go, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Do the members get reappointed for each of their 2 years then at the end of their 2-year term, or how does that work?
Yeah, so there's not a reappointment process, just people they cycle out again after a number of years, typically at their own, well, not typically, always at their own choosing, I guess. I would say we have had in the past a few members who have had poor attendance for a variety of reasons, and then they have been asked politely, what is your interest in continuing to participate on a task force? If you are not interested, we will replace with somebody.
And then, is it like a nomination and then who nominates and?
So certainly one of the duties that the task force does have, members do have, is to suggest new membership to us when we have an opening. Also, our chief community engagement planner, or actually specialist is her specific title. One of her tasks is to make sure she is identifying potential candidates as needs arise when she is out in the community at events and making contacts.
Gotcha. And what was the name of this I'm sorry, I forgot.
Environmental Justice Task Force.
Okay.
Move to approve Mr. McClendon's appointment.
Okay, second.
Second.
Third.
Okay. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Thank you very much. I think we have a short one here with overview of committee engagement division.
Unfortunately, so the individual that I just talked about, our chief community engagement specialist, was going to and very excited to provide this overview of how her division operates. Unfortunately, she has come down with laryngitis and cannot speak at all, so we're going to have to postpone this presentation, likely to June or September.
We couldn't get sign language?
To get AI.
AI. I'm AI.
I assume that we don't have to vote on that. Pat.
I don't think you have to.
Thank you. Okay.
And is that Nikki?
That is Nikki Payne. Yep.
Okay, thank
Okay, overview of commission website and social media activity, and that will need a motion. And Jim might help us there, I assume. He's sitting way down at the end, but he's tall, so you always know he's here.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just wanted to provide, Stephanie had asked me to provide an update on the website and social media activity. for the last year. So for our website, which we have a new website, and if you haven't seen that, go look at that. It's a great improvement over what we had previously. And I think the first major update in 20 years, maybe. So we launched that in late June of 2024. Total page views to date are more than 67,000. Total users over 17,000. And you can see from our monthly views and users, we're averaging about maybe 8,000 views and over 2,000 users a month. Some of our top pages, mapping and survey data is by far our top page, followed by transportation improvement program, employment opportunities. Search results, a lot of people are searching our site, looking for information about us, Vision 2050, commissioners and committees. And then going down. So that's the update on the website. And then in terms of social media, one of the directives when I was hired about a year ago was to expand our social media activity. And that has been happening. Which one go back? So we are currently active on 4 social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. And so when I started, we had 568 followers on LinkedIn, and that's the one that we really wanted to focus on because that's really a good market for us and the people that we want to be touching on a regular basis. So we started at 568 followers when I joined, and we are currently actually over 1,000 followers. So a great milestone that we just reached actually this week. So we're averaging over almost 5,000 views a month on LinkedIn. And then you can see some of the top posts that we've had over the last year. Facebook continues to be growing just a little bit. And that's about half of the followers or no, not followers, but the average views per month compared to LinkedIn. Twitter is kind of holding steady. We don't get a lot of interaction on Twitter in X. But that's like I said previously, just holding steady. And then finally, Instagram. We just got started on that not too long ago, and making a little progress there. But and again, that's just young people are more on Instagram, so that's an audience that we also want to be reaching out to. Then I put together a comparison of other regional planning commissions and their followers on LinkedIn and Facebook and to us. So you can see we're in the lead there. The others follow behind the other top 4 regional planning commissions in the state. And then I also just threw in Chicago there as another example. So they're at 9,000 LinkedIn followers and 3,400 on Facebook. So they're way ahead of us. So we've got some work to do, but we're making progress. And they've been at it for longer than we have. And then finally, just put together a media summary. So these are media mentions that we've had over the last year in different publications, newspapers, online publications. So you can see, I think there's more than 35 that we've had, and we can't track all of them. Sometimes they're in print only, so you can't see them online. But we're everything from Elkhorn Independent to Urban Milwaukee, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, is the Business Journal, Mass Transit Magazine. We're reaching a lot of different publications and getting media mentions. So
Okay,
that's the update.
any comments?
Mr. Chairman, would it be possible for us to get prints of this is very interesting information? I think it'd be useful to us if we could get copies of that, please.
I think that should, okay, can you do that for us? Okay,
I can.
send it to the communities or the board members, that would probably be the way to do it. Okay, any other comments?
I'll just make a quick comment. It's a compliment. Great job with the website. It is very user friendly, very informative, much more intuitive to move around and look for information. So looks great.
I'll tell you, I look up Lake Geneva every time they're looking at the new mapping of the good spots. And I'm still on it, I'm happy about that. You know what I mean? It's one of your
If the chairman ain't happy.
What's that?
If the chairman ain't happy.
Yeah, nobody's happy.
commission, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And follow us on the social platforms, please. Commissioner Crowley, thank you for your interactions on LinkedIn especially.
You're welcome. And I'm gonna make a quick comment, Mr. Chair. I want to point out, Commissioner Strike, today is National Grammar Day.
I can't say ain't.
8.
Oh, that's the first time I ever made a mistake on the floor of the commission.
Okay, anything else? I think we need a motion there.
No, we don't.
Are we done on that one? Okay. Okay, here's our big one for the day. And that's the review and consideration of the regional taxes levy for 26 budget. And I know who's going to talk.
I will take that, Mr. Chair. Thank you. The 4 pages plus that pertain to this item begin with the if color printed blue banners. And you can look at the first blue banner page that says updating the regional tax levy. This is an updated summary. So this meeting would be the first that you've seen this version that summarizes some of the information you've seen over the last few months as I've been calling you or reaching you about the status of our 2026 levy. So the first set of information is for your reference, the background, the status of our levy to the counties, the percentage of our revenue for 2025, and then it flows into the second page of factors that have allowed our sustainability to date, our rationale for updating the levy, some information about outreach and the timeline. And then that fourth page that does not have a blue banner has the table that is recommended for you to consider today for the 2026 levy. The executive committee reviewed and considered this dollar amount last month and approved the $2,488,757 total. That is representative of a 5% increase over the total levy that we have levied for nearly 19 years in the past. So while it amounts to a total of 5% over what we have been levying in prior years, you'll note this table acknowledges the difference in percentage that each county will see from 2025 to 2026. Importantly, we have had conversations with each of the 7 counties. So those of you who have electronic mail earlier this week, I shared with you the executive committee memorandum from me to the February discussion item about this levy, indicating that the conversations with 6 of the 7 counties and thereafter the 7 of the 7 counties indicated a range of support. One county, I think on the most conservative end, referenced feeling neutral, that they would not go out and advocate for this levy increase per se, but would not reject it outright. All the way through to, on the, I would say the other end of the spectrum, county commentary included, we appreciate what you do. We know we couldn't get this service at another place at this rate. And also hearing county commentary include that no one will even notice this levy change in our budget. So aggregated and somewhat informally, I share that with you because it developed certainly in me, I think when Jim participated in most of the county meetings, we developed a greater comfort in looking forward to 2026 with a needed, reasonable, and modest increase. So to pair for your consideration this number, I will say that counties did provide the suggestion that we be mindful of how a more modest increase might look in future years, but that we not sit idle at this amount for 5-6 years in the future.
19 years?
And then come back, yes, 19 years, and then come back with another jump. That they recognize that we need to keep pace our quality services, and that something maybe more modest commensurate with inflation or net new construction value or levy limits the percentage or number for consideration in future years. And not to then again, sit without that change for 5 years and come back later. And also that we sit down with counties annually, if not already, and provide some discussion about how the Regional Planning Commission is serving that county. Some counties do request that we report annually to a specific committee every year around budget season. Other counties don't. So we worked with those counties to say, let's make sure that we're at least sitting down once annually in the format that's most appropriate for you and talk about our relationship and how our work is going. So all said, I feel confident in presenting to you this number to the full commission with the executive committee's approval, because this is something that the counties have not expressed a great concern. And I think we can move into 2026 budgeting with this number in mind. So with that, I turn it over to the commission for consideration and conversation.
Any comments? Yes.
Sure. I'd like to thank Stephanie and the staff for having reached out to the counties, as we talked about at the last commission meeting about doing that. And I know it was noticed and greatly appreciated. So I appreciate you doing that. And the feedback that probably all of us have talked with our county execs and CFOs about is that the only comment was that there's, since you met with them, there's now more uncertainty than there was. And so that they didn't withdraw their support, but they mentioned to me that there's going to be a lot of numbers looked at here as this uncertainty goes forward. So I guess increased funding may bring increased scrutiny, but I think this was a very good first step, and thank you for the work that you did.
Excellent. Good to know.
Appreciate that. Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll echo the same comments as Commissioner Holloway. Applaud the staff's efforts and our executive director for making the bold move and meeting with each of the counties. And in some cases, you may think of it as stirring the pot a little bit. The more information, the more likely people are going to question things. But for the sake of transparency, it was very important, and it was great that she was able to get out and communicate with them. And I think it was well received. And this is important that we stay on top of this year after year, having those meetings. I have no further comments or questions, and I'd make a motion to approve the regional tax levy for the 2026 budget.
Hold a second.
Go ahead.
Just
Oh,
a second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. It's important for us, and I'll make a comment on it later. It's going. Over here?
Yeah.
Wrong person.
Can I talk loud enough? Long enough?
This is review and consideration of the treasurer's report, who happens to sit over here.
Thank you,
Not over
Mr.
there.
I was
Chairman.
jumping ahead in the meeting.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, it's not only National Grammar Day, but it's Ash Wednesday. So in honor of that, I will be reading from Deuteronomy, also known as the Treasurer's Report. This report is for the financial period ending January 31, 2025. As such, it represents the final status of the commission through 2025 reporting period number 2. You all can read along, and you also have a chart that you can follow. And thank Commissioner Johnson for adding a column called the adopted budget, so you can compare the numbers to our budget. So I'll go through the 3 items of note. Based upon disbursements through January 31st, 2025, it is projected that total disbursements for the year will approximate 9.5 million. Revenues are projected at about 9.59 million, exclusive of interest income and miscellaneous revenues. Item 2, The commission's reserves policy indicates a minimum reserve amount of $5,092,110 with a maximum reserve amount of $10,058,220. The audited cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year 2023 are $6,053,254. Item 3, as of January 31, 2025, the commission had in investments and cash on hand approximately 4.57 million. Just over 3.74 million were invested in the state of Wisconsin local government pooled investment fund. As of January 31st, 2025, that fund is yielding 4.39% interest. Other funds are held in savings, checking, and certificates of deposit accounts at several banks. And I'll add to note that we just renewed a CD with Spring Bank at 4.4% interest. So, Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Any comments there?
I move that we approve it.
Thank you. And any,
Question before we vote,
please,
or
go ahead.
Commissioner Stroik on thank you for the treasurer's report update. My recollection when we were talking about the tax levy for the commission, there was some discussion, lots of different options. One is tap the reserves, and if memory serves, you were saying, given a lot of the uncertainty right now, we should perhaps be more conservative with the reserve amounts that we hold right now. I hope I'm capturing that correctly. Please clarify as needed.
I don't know if I want to take credit for that, but there was a discussion, and I think it's a good idea, given the situation. We follow the recommendations of our auditors, and I think, well, I do agree that we should be on the conservative side, given the uncertainty coming from all over, including Washington.
Okay, I think we got the two up. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Good. Say something. No.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will present the Planning and Research Committee report. Planning and Research Committee has met once since the Commission's quarterly meeting on December 4th, 2024. In my absence, on February 4th, the committee did still meet and took the following action. We reviewed and acted on draft chapters 1 through 6 of the Regional Natural Areas Plan. That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
That's the one I like.
Motion to accept the report. Second, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Jim, a moment here. I've got a.
You be as brief as the last one?
I'm gonna do something a little different,
Oh,
if
no.
I can find it.
There, I should take mine.
I can't do that. Say, I've read this thing about 40 times. And it gets kind of boring. So I thought I'd do this a little differently. We had 2 meetings, which is important. Most of what we do are things that come in normally, and we handle them and go through it. This year, things were different, and we did spend a lot of time. In fact, we did it twice, and some people were shocked that I tried to do that. Was talking about the levy to make when I can tell you, if you ever have this as a business, where you stop something for a long time, don't do that. Because it's very hard to get back into a real, to get through that. It becomes a big obstacle. And I want to make this lady and everybody else that worked on getting that done. It makes me very happy. And it also to have the communities accept it for now. I will tell you another thing, and that is that in those discussions, we spent a lot of time talking about the forward part. And I don't think we have an answer to that that's correct, but I think we'll do the same kinds of things where we work very hard to find out what's right, and then we'll go around and make sure everybody understands and that way. And I don't think it's, I don't think we're going to go all over the place. So you don't have to worry about that. But that's the kind of thing the executive committee does is when issues come up, we have to work on them. Another one we have is we have a, I think this may have been talked about before, but we have a section of the building where another company is paying us to use that property. And it's been there for a long time, and that's been a funding thing for us. We lost it in the middle of the summer, I think. And that's another financial thing that hits us because we haven't been able to find a company that wants to move back in there yet. And we're working on it. It's very important. And so we just gotta go forward with that. But it's a tough thing. The transportation, I find transportation to be a very interesting period after when you're changing from last year to this year, because everything changes. People that aren't done with big tasks moving around. But it goes up in one and down in the other, and you learn a lot. And issues out of some of the things we've already talked about come forward, and then you see it operate, which I find it very interesting. We've been working outside on facilitators for our strategy effort. We're behind that. Part of it, a lot of it is because of all the work we did on the other things lately. So we'll get that going again. And I think it's very important for us to look forward to not just write down things that are, it doesn't mean anything to you on the paper. We got to make commitments out of this. And and we got some of the structure in, but I think these things that we're going to try and work on, I think I'll get more commitment out of what we want to do. So that's another thing. The revenues are always important. We have staff that does it really well. We went through that and it came up. You've seen it come up in the documents you came through. And we have we always see all these things about disbursements, sorry. And that might be confusing. What we do there is every period we review the payments we make. And most of them are very common things that we can just read in it and we know it's fine or not. But it's really important that we check things if there's things in there we aren't sure what it is. We need to talk about it because that helps our, when we get audited, they want to know that we're on top of that. And I think lately Levy's updated the document so we can understand it better. And she helps us by identifying things that we might not have known about. And that helps. And then I read it all and kind of make sure that nothing else out there. But that is it's not something you guys need to worry about, but it's important for us to do it on a relative basis. Okay.
Well, it's in the alphabetical order.
There you go.
I know it's me.
Yeah. So that's kind of, that's kind of what we did the last two times. And I think that's a little more fun way of saying it than what's written on a piece of paper. Okay, anything else?
I move that we accept your report.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay. Correspondence and announcements. Do we have any? Okay.
Based on today's conversation, we are likely to cancel the March Executive Committee meeting, and so we will follow up on calendars as appropriate. I believe that's the only announcement.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have one.
very good.
I have a little paper here. One of our top personnel person has gotten quite sick. And
Who's it?
and I'm it's Joel DT.
Joel Deedle.
Deedle, thank you. I can't do that. I've gotten his address and I'm gonna send it some from me. We want him to come back. We want him to be healthy, but it's gonna be rough. So you ought to be aware of that. So we want him back.
Very good.
Okay. I think are we done?
Motion.
Is
Adjourn.
there anything else?
Nothing else.
Nothing else?
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
okay, we got a second?
Mhm.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.